Hello, welcome to another Tonalist landscape oil painting demonstration. This is your painter in residence, M. Francis McCarthy, and the painting I'm bringing you today is called Arcadian Road. It's an 8 by 12, and I finished this yesterday. Not sure what started this maybe a month ago or something. It's been sitting there, and which was a good thing. There was quite a lot of things in the reference photo that were cool, but other things that needed to be worked out. And so, it's sitting there in my drying area, and I'm looking at it, I'm thinking about it. One thing was, you'll see this little group of trees off on our left side. I ended up like doing this little weird arc that I didn't think worked. Oh, by the way, this is like really sped up like 16, 17 times, so quite a bit faster than most of the videos that have been on the channel lately. And the reason for that is it took more time to paint. It was more an involved scene, and the more involved the scene is, the longer it takes to paint. I know that sounds like just straight up common sense, but it's all good. And yeah, the more complex tree forms and things, definitely you've got to work things out. We have a road, we have tree forms. Those distant hills, yeah, fortunately this video would just blow through it, but yeah, 20 minutes, something like that, just to try and work those out. And yeah, they ended up turning out okay. One of the things that well, anyway, so I painted on the hardboard with the burn umber, and it was sitting there for a while. And then yesterday was the day that it was time to finish it. And first thing I did was scraped off all the raised burn umber, which necessitated me getting in and basically kind of adjusting that, because some of the board was peeking through. I could have just, continued with the painting, but I felt like doing that. And the good thing about that was though that it occurred to me that having the foreground lit was a bad move, and so what I did was pretty much darkened. You'll see me doing it in 2 seconds here. Now, give me 1 minute. I'm going to sniffle here. Sorry about that. I had a sneeze. Oh, you see me doing it there, and that once that occurred to me to do, then you can see that the overall quality of the entire piece really went up. And it's not like I went dark black or anything in the foreground, but there's a lesson in that for you too, I think. Hopefully, if you're a painter and you're wrangling with your own photos and things and trying to make nice paintings. And you've heard from me in the past where I'm always saying, you have to deviate from the reference, you have to design the reference, etc., so on and so forth. You really do. And sometimes the answers won't be immediately apparent. You need to basically give the universe a chance to help you work things out sometimes. So once I came up with that set up like kind of a staging thing, which really upped the overall quality of the image immensely and helps direct the eye into the picture, into the distance. And we're anchored by these tree masses. Now, a couple of the things, and I know I repeat myself a lot on this channel, but it's because I'm always doing videos, and there's a lot of the same issues that come up. But you've heard from me on that, be more than willing and ready to modify any aspect of the reference image that doesn't serve your painting, because you're not making copies of photos, you're making a painting. The photo is really just inspiration for that. The other thing I want to point out is tons of this tree mass on our right was, tons of sky holes in there. You can see I have very few, just a few up at the edge of the mass, and the rest is just solid. And that's for the best. Having tree holes there. They would have been in the reference, and even darkened in the reference. I actually went in and kind of darkened them. Um, would have just been distracting, and wouldn't have added up to a good painting. So take a lesson from that. If you have tree holes in your reference, which there always is, a lot of them, reduce those to like next to nothing. The other thing I wanted to say was that I feel that this is very much influenced and inspired by the recent 25 or so Georgia Ness studies I did. His ability to simplify forms and get to the heart of the scene. I like to think I did absorb some of that. It's taken a while, but I think I've definitely benefited from that, and I'm hoping to get in there and do some more studies too. You have to be a little bit organic with your process. Like, don't always be pushing yourself to do certain things. The one thing I would say you need to push yourself to do is to work every day. But after that, well, in fact, I'll tell you what, I got a new student and she's got some challenges and stuff, but talent and intelligence, and she's doing a certain type of work, which, obviously, to me, it's very colorful, but sort of abstract, and my first thing I was saying to her was that you need to draw every day for an hour and a half. And now I might not give that prescription to everyone, but for her I think that was appropriate, because obviously she needs to be pushed a bit. And you say, well, that seems like a lot of drawing. Well, the fact of the matter is that painting is nothing more than colored drawing. If your drawing is good, your paintings will tend to be good. Most of the problems in your painting will be compositional issues. So getting your eye and your hand to work together so that you can express yourself in a more accurate and eloquent way, that is really the crux of what constitutes art. Now I have, I'm pretty old now. I'm in my late 50s, and I've been drawing and working at art for my whole life, since my teens, right? And I would just do pages of, I was into drawing, figures. I would just do pages of arms and legs or faces. I would draw every face in a TV guide, for example, just to get a grasp. And all of that informs everything I do. But when I came around to doing landscape painting, I've had to do so many paintings just to get to a point where I'm not failing as much. I know that seems, oh, Mike, I really want to do that. Well, this is the great thing, I think, about the landscape painting. It's like, it's very challenging. It's very rewarding, though, because if you create a beautiful image, a beautiful painting, it is beautiful, and it's bringing something great into the world. You're going to see me struggle for a bit here on these hills, and I thought of clipping some of this out, because I keep messing around and messing around. There's such a tiny area in the painting too, but I didn't have a very super clear idea of what I want to do. I will say, like, if you have, like, you see, this painting's not that big, but quite a lot of effort went into it. But if you have like little trees and things in your reference and those distant hills and stuff, you notice I didn't paint any of them, because it was just too hard, too fiddly. It was already majorly fiddly. One of my solutions was to really back off on one of the hills in the distance. So that's called aerial perspective. So in the reference, the original reference photo, which I took of my phone, I should point out, that was not as faded out and distant feeling. I really had to installed a lot of that in the in Photoshop prior to doing the painting, and then went much further with it. Here's another thing. So this is what we call a metal road out here in New Zealand. It's just a road that's made with gravel. It's not like pavement, and they're pretty interesting roads. But if you have like a little country road like this in your reference and you want to paint it, really watch out for drawing those those tire marks perfectly straight. That really looks bad. Okay, you want to have them feel organic, and you want to get the feel of looseness in the road, and it actually ended up becoming the title of the painting was the road, because the road obviously is the thing that we're following into the painting. Um, and is it a painting of a road? Well, it definitely features a road. I think I tend to see it as a painting of trees more than anything else, but I like me a road. Oh, that's the other thing I wanted to point out to you. So in the reference, you see this road. It takes up maybe a third of the bottom. In the reference photo, the road went entirely off of the left side, our left side of the painting. I basically created everything there, and you don't even notice it feels right right now. And the reason that I fix that sort of thing is that's the wide angle of the camera, and you won't even notice that you're using the widest angle. In fact, with the phone camera, it's pretty much just automatic. Everything's wide. Or I don't know how they work. I imagine they adjust the angle of the lens for. Don't quote me here. I don't know, but I do know that super. If you have like a road or something in your reference, it's always going to be really wide on the bottom, and you need to bring that into a human scale. Same thing goes with the distant objects, and I pointed this out all the time, but we're getting new people here all the time too, so. And even if you've heard it before, it's good to remember, because you're going to have to make these adjustments over and over. And in fact, I adjusted this road several times, and when I finally got around to the color painting, I trimmed it in even more. I made it even closer, and I felt that actually does look good. The other thing I wrangle with a bit with these roads is these diagonals. So in my mind, it's nicely counteracted by the verticalness of the tree mass on our right side. So I feel like I've reconciled that nicely, and I'm quite happy with the painting. And also, it helps that the whole front part of the painting is darker, and you can see it's darker. And in fact, we're getting into the kind of the meat where I put in some of the brightest, most colorful bits, which is that grassy fields and things on the other side. And I think that really ended up making it super attractive, in my view. That's in my view. So, hey, this painting going to be for sale in my store. Doing this one for about, just go $3.90 US on this. It took a bit of time. It's very beautiful, if I don't say so myself. I'm very pleased with it, and it's, to me, the result of years of work and application of the Tonalist thing, and the simplification too. That's the other thing. We got a little time here left. Simplification of the masses of the trees and things. There's always a lot of complexity, but you want to work towards a sort of unified and simplified approach that doesn't feel artificial. It does feel a bit designed, but that's okay. That's like a stylistic thing, and it's working. And it's a stylistic thing that's not forced, really. That's what I'm all about. I don't mind having some stylistic tropes, but you want them to feel organic, and you want them to feel like natural, and you accept it. So this is still sped up, but this is only 6 times here. So it's actually, funny enough, it seems just as fast, doesn't it? Anyway, if you got to the end of the video, I really appreciate it. It really helps, I guess. I hear on other channels, it really helps the if people watch the videos all the way through. But if you got some value off of this video, please consider leaving me a comment, or going and buying a painting, or give me a tip, or help me out in some way. The membership area. The entire full-length video is in the membership area. It's 4 hours, but 4 good hours, I will say. And a lot of artists like to just have me on in the background as they're doing their own thing. And you can kind of look over once in a while and see what I'm up to. It's like we were painting together in the same studio. Hey, isn't that nice? Anyway, thanks for joining me today. Thanks. I know you have a lot of other things you could watch, and I appreciate you coming around. And until I come back with another video for your edification and enjoyment, do me a favor, do me a solid. Take good care of yourself, your family, all your loved ones, and stay out of trouble. God bless you and your family.